What's going on? What's going on with the gaming? Check, check. Okay, there it works. There. My volume. Okay, my volume's working ever. Good. Good. Kara. Kara? Kara. I never know how to pronounce it. Faye, what's going on? Charles Nate. Julie Marie. The usual suspects. Is there a possible chance for nor'easter next week? Yeah, there is. There's a chance. That's for sure. We'll go over it. Aspen first. Wow, nice Aspen. First on TikTok. Nice. Why does it look so bright in here? It looks extra bright. Weird. We're gonna go over it in a second. Shout out insurance. It's going good, Lucy. Blake, what's going on? We're gonna get into this in a second. South of St. Louis was underwhelming. Well, Kyle, remember I told you that I doubt it. I was really not expecting St. Louis to even get much. So south of St. Louis, even less. It always peels around us. I mean, it's not just peeling around central New Jersey. It's peeling around Philadelphia just as much. Philadelphia's barely gotten any snow this year. They've been getting, it's New York City, same. New York City's barely gotten any snow. It's not like central Jersey that's that's the one that's just missing. It's from Philly all the way up through New York City, down to the coast of Connecticut, all kind of missing. We're seeing heavier snow to the north, up in upstate New York and out east through Massachusetts. And then we're seeing heavier snow through Virginia, Maryland, and Delaware. So it's to the north. It's missing a big sector all the way out towards Pittsburgh too. They've been underperforming. Yeah, that 50-degree weather is going to pull in and then pull out real quick. All right, let's get into some of the latest. This is kind of our 12Z Euro from today. Here's this big warm-up for everyone. This is a big warm-up for the entire eastern seaboard, basically. Big heat shield pushing up with this system. This is where we're going to have a big potential severe weather tornado outbreak in the southeast on Saturday and Sunday. And following it is going to be a significant amount of freezing air. This is going to be your freezing line way down here. So that is going to be pushing pretty far to the south. And then right behind it, you can see the Euro still puts snow down into the south. Still put snow down into Oklahoma, North Texas, potentially into Arkansas, northern, and some of these southern states like Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina. Potentially. This is just a little far out. We're not in forecasting range yet, so we need to see how things progress. And then does bring the storm up the coast as kind of a nor'easter. I know right now it doesn't show a bunch of snow for here, but again, if you look at one model run and where the future precipitation goes, if you look at a model run this far out and think that's exactly how the storm's going to act, you're not understanding how models work. If you see a storm move like this, in my brain, when I see this happening with this storm, I'm saying, okay, so this model run thinks it's going to scoot down here. This model run thinks this is where our snow is going to be, somewhere in here. In my head, I'm going, okay, that's probably not going to happen because they're rarely perfectly right. It's probably going to go more north or it's going to go more south. It's never dead on. Like I say, broken clock's right twice a day, but every now and then they'll get it right. But usually there's a shift in the track because there's plenty of time. There's 150 to 250 hours with some of these storms we're looking at, and there's going to be some shifts in the track. Slight warm up here from the Euro as we get into potentially 25th, 26th. I talked about there potentially being a warm-up at the end of February before we got another big burst of cold air, so we'll see if that actually happens. Let's look at the European 18Z real quick. Again, Chat, you know how I work. I'm going to talk about what's new, and then I'll get into taking questions. So here's the 18Z. It's still pulling this snow down here. Look at this. Still beginning to bring this snow, and this is going to be pushing down. So it's still showing this signal moving south. So we'll see how that, what happens with that. Here's the latest on our snow totals from the 18Z Euro. Big snow back up into New England. So obviously this system, as we move into the weekend, wants to put some okay snow into upstate New York, most of upstate New York, including portions of the Hudson Valley, Connecticut, and north. You could see a widespread, 4 to 6 inches. A little more snow for the areas that just saw snow, except for I think this is a Friday, Saturday thing, except for this could be included into the Twin Cities and more portions of Wisconsin, northern Wisconsin over the weekend as well. West Coast, here it comes. We talked about this being a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday event. I think it's more of a Thursday, Friday event, but this is going to be a ton of snow. Flagstaff's still looking at potentially a foot of snow down there. Some good snow in the mountains in New Mexico as well. Feet of snow through the Sierra Nevada Cascades. And it does look like we're probably going to get a little low elevation snow into Seattle and Portland, but people got to let me know if that happens. It looks like we might. And at the end of the run, obviously it shows this snow wanting to creep back down into the south. So we're gonna have to look at that really quickly. I want to get into a couple more things here. Let me look at the latest teleconnections. It feels like every single time we look at these, this is telling us what's going on with our cold air. So every time we look at these, it feels like this is such a crazy negative Arctic oscillation. This is unbelievable. And this is happening. -6. Wow. So there's going to be a lagging cold air event from this, I think. This has to do with the stratospheric polar vortex. Every time I look at this, it keeps saying it's going to go up. It keeps showing an increase on the AO in this time frame, and this increase keeps getting pushed back in time. So we're going to watch that. And our North Atlantic oscillation, everything wanting to go neutral. We'll see. This could be the quick warm-up before we get cold again in March. Let's see here. I did want to just point out again, guys, this is our CPC outlook. I'll get to chat in a second. This is our CPC outlook. Talk about cold air, right? So, one second, let me get this fixed. There you go, so you can see it better. So this is the temperature probability outlook from the Climate Prediction Center from February 18th to February 22nd. Darker the blue, the more below average your temperatures are expected to be. Big return to cold air. And we can push out to the 8th to 14th. You start to see some ridging out west, meaning some warmer air. You're probably going to dry up during this time frame as well. 20th to the 26th, and then colder air remains out here. And I think we're going to see above average precipitation in this time frame through here. So maybe some snow chances through some area out here during this time frame. And we have some very severe weather going on right now. And I think we have a tornado on the ground, so I need to get to that in a second. Okay, both tornado warnings actually lifted. That's good. But we're going to watch and see if there's anything else going on with that. Lastly, again, this is looking really, really crazy for our day 4. We'll go to our day 2 outlook first. This is our day 1 outlook. This is the severe weather we're still dealing with through here. So portions of southeastern Louisiana, southern Mississippi, central to southern Alabama, western Georgia, and the panhandle of Florida. This is going to shift a little bit farther out east tomorrow, and we have to watch for the potential for some strong winds, tornadoes, hail, flash flooding out here. Day 4, Saturday, this is going to be bad. Reed Timmer pulled out of his convention he was going to because he said, I have to chase this. This is already an enhanced risk. I think it might go moderate. We could see not just a severe weather outbreak, but a tornado outbreak with this. Long track, EF2 plus tornadoes. So we just got to keep an eye on it. It's day 4, so let's see what happens in the next 48 hours. And hopefully the risks pulls off a little bit, but it just looks like it's probably going to push to moderate. So we'll keep watching it. Obviously, you can see what areas this includes. Eastern Texas, Louisiana, southeastern Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, northwestern Georgia, southern Tennessee. So with that target being through Louisiana and Mississippi. This could be bad. This could also come with derechos, meaning Not just damaging winds from tornadoes, but there could be a squall line with just a wide damaging winds up and down the squall line that could affect everyone. So I'm gonna watch out for that. All right. Anyways, chat. Let's get into it. I'll start answering some questions here. How many inches in eastern Tennessee for the 19th to the 20th? It's not in forecastable range. You might get 0. I'll show you what our Euro thinks for you guys. Eastern Tennessee right now. If you were to take our Euro at its word right now, it thinks maybe an inch. We need to get a little bit closer to confirm that. Oklahoma for the 19th and 20th, same thing. We need a little bit more time. Right now, obviously, I mean, I'd probably even want to go. I mean, we need the new Euro, but we can see what type of model consensus we have. Let's look at Weather Bell here for this type of stuff. Let's go to our ensembles, and let's go to surface winter. So, let's not go to that. Let's go to our 12Z. Okay, there we go. So, here, I'll do this. I'll go to percentage. I'll go to probability of 3 inches plus. This is from our latest Euro ensemble. Probability of 3 inches plus. It does right now give northern Oklahoma a chance of seeing more than 3 inches of accumulation during that time period. It gives Tennessee and portions of Carolina about a 10 to 30% chance of seeing 3 plus more inches. And then Arkansas, northern Arkansas, it's more of a 50 to 70% chance of seeing 3 or more inches of snow during that time frame, 19th to the 21st, 22nd. So I wonder what we're looking at with 6 inches. Still some areas down there in Oklahoma and northern Arkansas, and even potentially some areas in North Carolina. Detroit this weekend. Here's the latest for Detroit. Here, let's go actually into 24-hour snowfall. I'm interested to see how much you do get off of this. Detroit, is it going to be like 4 to 5 inches? Although there's some mixing down there, but I'm interested to see how much snow falls into Detroit with this. Going into this weekend, could be pretty good. 9 inches. That's based on the latest Euro. We can go take a look. Actually, I kind of want to take a look at our NAM. I don't think our NAM 3K is going to go out far enough, but we can see. Yeah, Detroit may underperform there. No, it's not going to go out far enough. Let's look at what our GFS thinks for Detroit moving forward. Yeah, I mean, our GFS puts big snow into Detroit as well. So does the Euro. They both do. What's our 24-hour snowfall from the GFS for Detroit with that storm? GFS actually puts a little bit less, 6 to 7, but you could end up with like a 7 to 9 in Detroit. You're a little bit close to the snow line, and so I'm a little bit concerned with maybe a little mixing, but I think it's going to be mostly snow. What would be the perfect scenario for a nor'easter? I mean, we're looking at a scenario that's close to it. Big diving cold air right here. Now, this actually, the way the GFS plays this out, it's not great for a nor'easter. So this trough begins to plunge in a little bit too far out to the east, and so it doesn't have time to hook and tilt. And so this is actually not really nor'easter. This is just being pushed off as a zonal flow type storm. The GFS actually, or the European actually sees this happening a little bit different. And we know the European's typically better at seeing this stuff farther out. The European does have this trough digging in farther out west from out here instead of out here like the GFS, and that would allow time for this negative tilt and for it to pull up the coast, which you can see it trying to do here. Trying to see it starts to deepen down to a 991 as it moves off the coast. We just need this to dig a little bit more, and then that could end up as a nor'easter. Still potential for it. I mean, what's my prediction? if I had to say, I'd say that this thing's probably gonna trend back west. But right now, the models have been flattening this out a little bit. You can see it on the Canadian too. Canadian flattens the storm out too, and I'm a big believer in trends. Meaning, I'm starting to think we may not get the tilt we want out of it to get a nor'easter, but I do think it's probably going to end up putting more snow along the coast, and it's not going to fly off the shore like that. Usually, they're going to pull back to the northwest as new models come out. So I think we'll end up getting snow from it on the coast, but I don't think it's going to end up being it could be, still could be a big nor'easter. We still could see that develop, but right now the models are trending away from it. All of the models are trending away from it. What's happening this weekend for Trenton, Philly? Yeah, just rain. Just rain. I mean, there's a small chance for snow. The Euro and GFS give a small chance for maybe like an inch of snow, but then on the backside of that snow would be a bunch of rain that would just flatten it out. So we're gonna get really, really warm on Saturday. And then I think on Sunday, it's going to be like a high in the 30s. I think I got to look at the timing of this. Let me see here. So here's our Saturday. Temperatures stay pretty cool. And then Sunday, yeah, we're going to go from a high in the 30s on Saturday to a high in like the middle to high 50s Sunday, and then back down to really cold air on Monday. So Sunday's just going to be a random really hot day, but we're going to have a lot of rainfall. Do you think wind gusts will be near 50 miles per hour in northern Illinois on Saturday or Sunday? Let's take a look at some of these projections. You know, right now this is calling for 30 to 35 mile per hour wind gusts over the weekend. The 50, 60, 70 mile per hour plus wind gusts are going to be in New England when that storm begins to strengthen and move up the coast. So sick of the rain. Yeah, Brittany. There's going to be more. Fort William keeps getting passed by. Every single person in chat keeps saying they're getting passed by. Snow doesn't fall over a wide area. There's a lot of places that have been struggling, especially out here. We've gotten like 5 snowstorms where I live north of Philly, but they've all been like an inch or two. It's all been pathetic. Same with New York City, Pittsburgh, New Jersey, Central Ohio, I think has been missing out a lot. Southern Connecticut and Rhode Island have missed out on a pretty good amount of snow. That a lot of these storms, storms miss a lot. And then you've got like Minnesota and portions of Wisconsin in a huge snow drought this year. Way more significant than most others. I mean, like the Twin Cities averages like 40, 50 inches of snow a year. Well, I mean, how much snow has the Twin Cities had this year? Like 8. They're super snow drought this year. But some places like, Virginia, Maryland, Delaware are actually gonna hit above their averages for snowfall. And then I think Michigan's going to end up doing pretty good. Inland New England's going to end up doing pretty good in snowfall this year as well, too. Charlotte's on a snow drought? Yeah. Charlotte's been on a snow drought for a while. You got your first recorded snow this year in over 1,000 days. It's normal. It's normal. Charlotte's been on a longer drought. Charlotte went through one period of time with 7 years where they didn't see snow. Yet over the last 100 years, you guys still average 6 inches of snow a year because on a macro level, snow droughts that last a few years are very normal. How much snow do you think is possible in Bucks County in the near future? Hard to tell because we don't have any more big snowstorm right on the horizon. So in the near future, maybe an inch. If you're talking about pushing out into like a week to a week and a half, we could see a big snowstorm. But it's just a little too far out. It's out of forecasting range. Cat 5 cyclone hitting you in Australia tomorrow. How did I miss that? Let's see here. What? Hold up. Oh, wow. Southern Hemisphere. I didn't even know about that. Well, that's what happens when I have to actually do my full-time job. Let's look at this. Let's look at this real quick. I love hurricanes. Here we go. Right now, what is it at? Super Typhoon Zelia. Max gust 200. Wow, 165. This is a Cat 5. What's the pressure at? Do we have a pressure? It's not giving me a pressure. Wind speed 180. Oh, they're expecting it to strengthen. Oh, wow. This is going to... And then they're expecting it to weaken slightly as it moves in. They're expecting it to make landfall as a Cat 4. That's... Does anyone live out here? I guess there's some small cities out here. I know the majority of people in Australia like live out here on the east. And then some down here. Holy crap. I wish I... Can I get a satellite of this? Let me see some... sorry, you guys can't see what I'm looking at. Let me show you. Let me see if I can do satellites. Is this only going to give me satellite over? No, it should give me satellite over here. Give me a second, guys. Oh, that's what I got to do. Let's do 1 second. Northern Pacific, Northeast Pacific. It's not going to give me over here, is it? Florida sector. Oh, that's so annoying. Let me go. Okay, I actually want to look at this. This is very interesting, guys. Let me switch up some things. Okay, there's a Cat 5 that's about to hit Australia. My week's been so busy that I don't know how this goes over my head. But let me show you something real quick. Hold up. Breaking news. Let me put this on down here for a second. Okay. Let's do this. Whoa. Oh, and it's stalled right now, too. Holy crap. Look at that eye. Oh, my gosh. It's a beast. What a beast. Oh, my gosh. Let's look at... I'm sure our water vapor looks crazy. Oh my gosh. Let's look at our infrared radar. Nope, that's not what I want. Sorry. Look at that, guys. Super Typhoon. Super Typhoon. So... I'm trying to get information on... So, oh, wow. Okay, so it's... Okay, so we have a central pressure at 940 millibars. That's a very high central pressure for a storm with 165 mile per hour winds. I expected that to be closer to 920. 910 to 920. Which is interesting. It's intensifying right now, so the pressure is gonna drop. But that's pretty crazy. So we have our spaghetti models here. Most of these have the pressure at around. Most of these some of these have the pressure between 940 and 950 at landfall. Most of these have the pressure at 960 to 970 at landfall. That would tell me it's going to make landfall as a Cat 3. Although the models seem to think it's going to make landfall as a Cat 4. I'd like to. We'll get back to that stuff in a second, guys. I just want to look at a few more things. I'd like to look at the HAFS model on this super quickly, if it'll let me. 1 second, guys. Let's go to forecasting models. Hurricane. H Wharf. Halves B, halves A. What's this one's called? Is this Zelia? Okay, here's the halves model. Sorry, I just really want to know what's going to happen with this thing. So it's stalled. It's literally stalled. It's moving in circles. So the halves model is your best short range strength, your best short range intensity model. Typically gets it the best. I believe halves is hurricane analysis and forecasting systems, and it's not an experimental model. It's what they call a it's like a future. It's one of the newer models, and then there's the halves B as well. But I think the halves A, the halves A is supposed to be the best when it comes to intensity. So it has it making landfall at 924, 924 central pressure, and that is that. If the halves model is correct, that means it's going to make landfall as a Cat 5, and I trust the halves model the most. So I think that may be what we're looking at there. And this is funny because I'm used to looking at cyclones in the northern hemisphere, and I'm like looking at these winds, and I'm like, why is this? I'm looking at these winds, and I'm like, this is not the way. Oops, sorry. I'm not used to hurricanes. You know, their winds moving clockwise, anticyclonic. So very interesting look. But yeah, I agree with the halves model. I agree with the halves model. You know, if it says 924. Although it is it's running into, you can see down here, it's running into a lot of dry air and wind shear down here, especially dry air. So it's gonna de-intensify quickly as it moves in. So it hopefully it de-intensifies right before it heads on shore, because if it makes landfalls in 924, that's gonna be a very strong Cat 5. Holy crap! I didn't know that was going on. Oh crap. Okay, sorry. We're going to get back to this stuff, guys. Whoa. Did not know that was happening. There's actually a few different storms on here. Sorry, let me just look at one more thing. Talia, nothing. Vince. Okay, so Zelia. Wow. That's crazy. How about his weather looking for Tuscaloosa on Saturday? Well, again, if we just go into our SBC outlooks, this is our main concern area right in here. So, you know, and this is going to shift out east over time. So, yeah, Tuscaloosa is definitely an area where you need to have weather alerts Saturday and Sunday. 100%. You can see tornadoes in and around that area. My weather app for Raleigh, North Carolina says 11 to 13 inches of snow next Thursday. Yeah, Amanda, that's probably tripping. What model even shows that? The European 12Z showed something. Let me see what the GFS 18Z says. Let's see if that's what it's pulling from. Here's the GFS 18Z. It's not the 18Z, the GFS that's showing it. So what's it pulling from? Maybe it's pulling from the European 12Z. Let's see what the European 12Z thinks. No, European 12Z doesn't see it. See, again, I don't know. There's no reason for your app to say that right now. Oh, you know what? It must be using the Canadian model. The Canadian model puts 2 feet of snow in and around Raleigh. And every other model thinks the Canadian model is crazy on this. I don't think it's crazy to think that you could get snow along this track where the Canadian brings snow. Those totals, I doubt it. And also, we don't have too much. We have zero model consensus on it yet. So there's no reason your app should be showing that. Why is Alaska so warm? The same reason that the West Coast has been above average for much of this winter. Right now, they're actually getting cooler. They're much cooler. But just the way our jet stream has been set up. And a big thing that has to do with that as well is, we all know, I've talked about it enough, but we've had a polar vortex split. It's been stretching, moving away from each other. We can see it here. And it's the way it's split. The way the polar vortex has been splitting and the stratospheric vortex have been splitting, the air has been kind of pushing farther to the east. The split's been pushing farther to the east. So Europe right now, very warm. In a big ridge. Alaska as well. You guys have been unlucky with the placement of the ridging. This is kind of your cold air in here. So you got cold and you got hot. You guys have just been unlucky with the placement of where these polar jets and stratospheric vortexes have been moving and settling in. This, I just lost my train of thought. What was I saying, guys? I was about to tell you something really important. It was really, my next statement was very, very, very important. And look, Alaska looks like it's going to get even warmer. My next statement was very important. Oh my gosh. And look, as these come back together, Alaska's going to stay over. It's going to stay warmer than normal. December through the beginning of March, if you were to average them all together, it's going to end up being one of the coldest winters overall on average for much of the East. I know right now you're very warm down in the South, but there's multiple blasts of cold air. You're going to see cold temperatures returning. But especially up through the Midwest, Mid-Atlantic, and New England, this is, in parts of the Central Plains, this is going to end up being one of the coldest 3 winters that we've had in decades, just based on temperatures. There's a bunch of very, very cold temperatures moving back in here. Most of the areas have been below average for most of winter. We're getting a little warm up on Sunday out east, then it's immediately cold again. Brittany Lake Fox. What's going on, Lake? Megan and Anonymous. I appreciate you guys. Let's get into here. The Euro and GFS are showing ice like 10 days out. Yeah, don't worry about that, Michael. Models can barely predict where ice is going to be 2 days out, so don't worry about it 10 days out. It's not going to be accurate. If it is, it's luck, but it's most likely not going to be accurate. Getting ice possibly in the region, but it doesn't know where it's going to fall yet. There's too many factors that go into ice to understand what's going to happen 10 days out. Good evening, Connor. How's Iowa looking for Friday? We got 10 inches today. Oh, nice. Yeah, here comes the system Friday. Let's look at our 18Z, the Euro. This is going to give us the most accurate forecast here. I'll go in here. Let's go into our 18Z. And let's actually just go. Why don't we go straight into Iowa? Let's see. Here. Okay, so actually I want to go into 24-hour total snow. So this is your right now your Friday snow's looking less and less. It's looking like that snow is going to form just off to your east. So we're seeing just a wide 1 to 2. And central to west or central to eastern Iowa. Let me see what our GFS puts here. So the GFS, let's see, the GFS has that snow, has a little bit more. The GFS thinks, wow, that's a pretty big discrepancy for a very short period of time. Okay, I'm not going to trust any of these. Let's take a look at some short ranges. Okay. This agrees a little bit more with the Euro, but it's like a 2 to 3. That's a mix. What's our national blend think? Man, they should not be having issues. They should not be having issues this close. HRRR. The HRRR has been doing really bad lately, but I'm interested to see what it thinks for our snowfall in Iowa. It's actually crazy how messed. It's because most of them aren't sure where the snow is going to originate, where the convection is going to start. See, the HRRR barely has any. Go back into our NAM 12K. NAM 12K piles it in. I think it's going to end up being on the lower end. I think the Euro is going to end up being correct with this. So that would put it 24-hour snowfall. That would put it closer to maybe a 2 to 3, central to eastern. What is the polar vortex looking like right now? Well, if we actually want to look at like the temperatures, if we actually take a look at northern hemisphere, stratosphere, let's actually take a look at like what's going on up there. Tropopause. Let's see here. This is kind of what it's looking like right now. Those purples are very cold. So there, here's your one vortex. Here's your other vortex right here. And this is shifting south. Watch as we move forward in time. See it stretching and moving south. So this is just going to help with these temperatures out here in the States. This is the United States down here, continuing to get colder. And then what they want to do is they want to come back together as one and be this should be up here. So the daughter vortices kind of want to come back together and push down above the States, and that's when you can see this big lagging cold air event happening down in the lower 48 again. We'll see what happens with Alaska. This could finally be some cold air back into Alaska. So we'll see. New York snow, yeah, upstate New York. I mean, look at this. This is a pretty good snow. New York City might miss out on this. Hudson Valley to upstate, this could end up being a 4 to 7 inch day, depending on where you are. So that's over the weekend. You can see it up here. I can zoom in a little bit. See, this could be a good day for you guys up here. Right now, the still wants to put in about an inch into New York City. It's going to be tough, though. It's going to be tough. There's going to be a lot of mixing down there. This is the weekend snow. And then pushes up into Maine as well. Maryland's Maryland's getting real greedy now. You guys have had great snow. Yeah, we're going to need to wait a little bit. We're going to need to wait until next week for Maryland when we might have another chance. Again, there's a signal for there's a agreement on let's go to it. There's an agreement on this storm right here, starting at around the around the 18th and making its way up the eastern seaboard on the 20th. Would that be next Thursday? Next Thursday, making its way up. This would be a good snow for the mid-Atlantic potentially, but all the models see it, but they see it in a little bit of a different way. Some models have this as a little bit more of a zonal flow and pushing off. I think it may be a little steeper only because the only reason I still think we could still get a nor'easter is just because looking at our teleconnections, our Arctic oscillation is very low, and I think this trough around this time period is going to be more amplified, meaning it's going to be stronger and pushing colder air farther to the south than these models are seeing. So I think this could end up being a stronger coastal storm than it shows. We'll see. Mabran. Castro, I appreciate you. Miss Lala. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you guys. Thank you to anyone who's followed or subbed as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Seriously, I really appreciate it. My app says less than 1 inch for this Saturday. Now for Kansas. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Next week, you guys could end up with a ton of snow. The 18Z of the Euro sees this too. This could end up being a 4 or 5 inch day for you guys. So, snow dropping in New Orleans, or is hurricane season coming sooner? Well, snow already dropped in New Orleans for the first time in like forever. So, that's not a normal event. Wow. Galaxy Stout. I appreciate you, man. Thank you. Shout out the Galaxy. I'm confused in this. I'm confused this weekend in Buffalo. I hear rain, now snow. What's up? It's a good question. You guys, well, I mean, you guys have already got some rain going on right now. This, to me, looks like it's going to be a snow event leading into rain. So you're going to start off as snow for a couple hours, maybe more than a couple hours, and then it's going to turn into rain. Why? Because, well, simply put, you can see it happening here. Here's our ridge. Yeah. Buffalo weather's awful. It's been crazy this year. Here's our ridge. You're going to have some convection, some storm action up here. You're going to have cold air falling. You're going to have that falling as snow out ahead of this ridge. This is going to be good, nice, fluffy snow. And then as the hours go by, this warm head is going to kind of push its way in. And then you're going to turn from, probably within a span of an hour, going to turn from snow to sleet to ice to potentially heavy downpours of rain. That's at least what it looks like. This is pretty good forecasting range, under 96 hours as well. So I would expect it to start off as snow and then make its way towards rain. Here in Colorado, we were supposed to get 5 inches but got 1 because it's too cold. Is it that cold right now? Yeah, you guys do have some pretty cold air out there. Let me see something real quick. Let's see something really quick. Surface observations. Right now, I don't see. I do see most. Okay, so I see some cold temperatures in Colorado. I see a -11 down here. So these are really weird temperature differences. I see a 27 out here. That's got to be wrong. Yeah, it's cold. 1 degrees, -3, -8, 0, -6, -11. We can actually look. I mean, we can probably see it in our temperature anomalies right now out there. Look, holy crap. Look at our temperature anomalies out there, guys. 34 degrees below average, Colorado. 34 degrees below their average temperature. Yeah, it's freezing. And there's some wind out here, I'm sure, associated with this. There's going to be a lot more wind soon, though. Yep. We've got some 30 to 40 mile per hour gusts out there. Watch as we move forward, though. This is another event that's coming through that's going to bring very strong winds for you guys Thursday and Friday. And we can look at what our temperature anomalies are supposed to look like over the next couple days, too. Staying cold with that wind moving in as well. Getting back a little bit towards average there, and then here comes another plunge of cold air over the weekend for Colorado. So did the snow back off from central Ohio on the 15th to the 16th? Let's look. It's fallen. Yeah, it's gonna be a northern Ohio snow, but then that snow is gonna turn over to rain. Still possible to get some on the back end here. The Euro never liked snow through Ohio during that time frame. The GFS did. Jacob, I appreciate it. Yeah. We got another system back here. There's still, I mean, we have systems lining up one after another. So could Chicago see a lot more snow this winter, and how much? Yeah, it could. Of course it could. I'm interested. The Climate Prediction Center has been so terribly wrong about every month this year. I'm kind of interested to see what they think for March. Let me see. I'm really interested. They've adjusted. Okay. This is the first time seeing one that I kind of agree with. So this is their outlook through March 7th. So we're, colder up here and warmer down here. And of course, and look at Alaska, toasty. And everyone in the white, that's kind of, average temperatures. Now, precipitation wise, here's their precipitation wise. So, if I was looking at this, we saw our colder temperatures want to be up here. When you see colder temperatures and you see above average precipitation expected, could see above average snowfall from the 22nd through March 7th out here. This is probably where they're gonna put their target for above average snowfall. That's where the colder temperatures are going to be, and that's where the above average precipitation is going to be. That's the easiest way to break it down sometimes. Those are the two things you need. The CPC's been so wrong all year, though, with the seasonal outlooks at least. That one actually looks correct, especially with what's going on with our vortex and everything, where it's settling. Possible school closures. Northern New Jersey, like above Trenton. I don't see why they would close schools. They close schools for like nothing in New Jersey, though, in PA. So I guess it's possible. I don't see any reason for any sort of school closures anytime soon. What's the chances of Northern New Jersey getting a nor'easter next week? I can't give you chances because it's too far out. The chances of a system. We're asking the chances of a system that's all over 170 hours away. The chances of a snowstorm moving out towards the east, towards the mid-Atlantic next week are high. Chances that we have a snowstorm moving out towards the mid-Atlantic are high next week. The problem is we have discrepancies in the models. Some want to keep this as a zonal flow, move it out flat. Some do want to curl it up and have a kind of a bombing out low, which would be a nor'easter style setup. So there's no consensus at all between the models on that yet. So once I see some consensus and at least the troughing pattern looks similar, which we could see in the next 48 hours, then I'll give you my opinion on that. But I think there's a high chance that snow is moving towards the mid-Atlantic. How long's cold snap supposed to be for Iowa? Well, we can look here. This is starting on the 18th, all the way through the 26th. So, your temperatures in Iowa are supposed to remain below average. If you take the whole average of the next almost 3 weeks, the CPC likes your temperatures, and the CPC is much better than the short range, likes your temperatures to remain below average. So the east, really not from the Mississippi out east, really from the plains out east, it's going to be below average for a few weeks here. Not the whole time. Again, like for us in the mid-Atlantic, it's going to be like a high in the 50s on Sunday, but then it immediately gets freezing again after it. So you always have some warm air move in for a day or two sometimes. Philly's going to be sloppy this weekend. Lots of cold rain, potential ice, sleet. It's going to be really, really sloppy weather. I'm just north of Philly. We still have like 2 inches of snow on the ground outside. It was melting all day. Praying Long Island gets that. It's a possibility. No, nothing like 4 to 6 inches for Long Island soon. Again, we're watching that storm next week. That's going to give potential for you guys. Can I get snow in Southwest Ohio like this Saturday and next week? Probably not this. I don't think there's anything that would tell me that you're going to get snow in Southwestern Ohio this weekend. There's a chance. This gives a chance for back end snow on Sunday. That's going to be tough, though. That's going to be tough. This storm could still potentially move up towards the Midwest. I think it's more likely if this is going to head out towards the Mid-Atlantic like this. But we still have to watch. There's enough time for this the track of this to change. That's why I'm not going to make any calls on something that's 150 plus hours out. The storm's coming, but we need a little bit more time to get that track down. What do you think the chance of ice and or snow in Vancouver, Washington? Vancouver, Washington. Okay, so Portland. Portland Metro. Okay, yeah, Portland. Yeah, it looks like there's going to be yeah, I did not have to look that up. Portland. Again, and I was talking about this earlier. It does look like we have a pretty good chance of seeing low elevation snow down there. Temperatures are going to be cold enough, and we've got some moisture moving in. So let's look at our NAM 3 kilometer, and the NAM 3 kilometer has been doing pretty good. Yeah, our NAM 3K likes snow there as well. Thursday morning. Tomorrow morning, I guess. This does look like it wants to stay low elevation. Not much. Maybe an inch or two into the low elevation. And then maybe a little bit Friday as well. What's our HRRR think here? Same thing. Not much, but some. When did I get so congested? Our Euro, same thing, an inch or two. Thinks it's possible through there. What do you think the chance of ice or snow in... I already said that. Could I get snow soon in Southwest Ohio? Oh, answered that. Will next Thursday's winter storm be severe in Northern Virginia? Again, that's too far. That's too far out. We can take a look at what it looks like now. Take a look at the future radar. Tell you if I think it's going to be... If the radar looks severe. In Northern Virginia, is that what you said? Yeah. We don't know where that system... We don't. If that system's to your north, it could be severe. If it's to your north. Arkansas next week. Again, we're watching this system. You know, this system right here. I mean, the Euro does want to put some snow into northern Arkansas and some ice and rain into southern Arkansas next Tuesday into Wednesday, but we need a little bit more time to assess that. It's just out of forecasting range. I'm getting a snow day in upstate New York tomorrow, or I don't. Maybe. I mean, I don't think you would be, but you know, I don't know. Some of these states give snow days for like nothing. I mean, last week everyone got off a school here near where I am, north of Philly, and like nothing happened. It was like cold rain. It was ridiculous. So I guess it really just depends. The system doesn't look that bad for you guys. It really doesn't look that bad for you guys tomorrow or Friday, but maybe they'll cancel it. I don't know. I wouldn't. How much is it looking like for Boston tonight? Weather app only says 1 to 2 inches. Yeah, I'd agree. 1 to 2 inches. Maybe less. What's our latest 18Z think? Yeah, maybe less. Our latest Euro thinks 0. I could see you getting an inch. How much snow did you guys just get in the Chicago suburbs? Also, when you say burbs, do you mean to the north? I'm confused when people ask me about the Chicago suburbs. All right. Carm, you are blocked. I'm confused when people ask about the Chicago suburbs. Why do we say it like that? Let me zoom in. Like, is it to the north, to the west, to the south? What is considered the Chicago burbs? Because I get asked that all the time. Chicago Western. Oh, okay. Like out. Okay. I'm always confused. Um, you guys still have some snowfall falling just to the north of Chicago. Lots of severe weather still down in the southeast. I don't see any tornadoes right now, which is good. That's why we're not talking about it. Yeah, if we go to our 24-hour Kuchera, pushing forward, Euro gives you guys another chance for snow. Chicago, it looks like Saturday, Sunday. I mean, man, the latest Euro does Saturday, Sunday does want to put like 6 or 7 inches into Chicago. Chicago and the suburbs, same thing. Right through it. So that could be a pretty good system. So that timing would probably be... The timing with that system would be... Yeah, that'd be this right here. Cranking up Saturday evening through Sunday morning. Tomorrow, New York City at 6 a.m. Are you guys expect? Probably just. I mean, 6 a.m. tomorrow, New York City. Rain. Do I see anything coming next week for Chicago, Milwaukee area? I see something coming this weekend for Chicago, Milwaukee area. Next week, nothing yet, except for well below average temperatures. Cold. Is there a legitimate chance Middle Tennessee gets snow next week? Yeah, there is. I mean, there's. We can take a look. We can see that our GFS likes it. It keeps a little bit to the north though. But put some snow down into Middle Tennessee. Our 12Z Euro, and I'll take our 12Z Euro over our 18Z GFS any day. Does put some actually decent snow into Middle Tennessee. That would probably be 4 to 5 inches. And then kind of has almost a nor'easter type look up the coast. Not quite, but our Canadian C for Tennessee. The chance for some good snow too. The Canadian would be big snow for Middle Tennessee as well. So a little bit far out though. We can't say for sure, but there's a good signal there. So Minnesota's going to struggle for a little bit. It does look like Friday night you guys could get some okay snowfall in the Twin Cities, but you guys are going to start getting super, super cold again to the point where you're just going to develop this cold core high. You can see it right here spinning because it's going to be so cold. You're not going to have the ability for any lift, any convection. It's just going to be ridiculously cold. You guys are going to have lows in the -10 to -20s for a while with all this cold air settling in. Really starting here Saturday all the way really looks like through until almost for a week, basically. Polar vortex is split. We have 2 vortices right now. Look at the new icon model. 00Z is doing some crazy stuff. Yeah, I don't think that snow is going to go that far south with that system. Yeah, I mean, the icon's still showing the snow in the south like the other models are. This is actually replicating what the 12Z Euro looks like. To me, this looks like it's looking like the 12Z Euro. 12Z Euro does the same thing here. The icon in Euro can be very similar sometimes. And then decent snow for Tennessee. Yeah, that's looking very similar. This, though, would potentially pull this snow off the coast. Maybe not move it up through the mid-Atlantic. Potentially. It really depends, though. If we have another piece of energy up here that can push this down, we could see this tilt up. We could. I don't know where Summit County, Colorado is, but I can show you Colorado. I mean, here's through the weekend. This is low elevation snow too. So this is over a foot in a lot of the mountainous areas, and this is two to 4 inches down there in the plains, in the lowland. This is interesting here. This is where things get interesting, and this is the storm that could end up being a southern snowstorm. The Euro does like heavy, heavy, heavy snow into the plains next Monday into Tuesday. What does our GFS think for that time frame as well? Does it put that snow into Colorado as well? No, keeps it out to the east, but I think our latest icon puts that snow into the plains of Colorado as well. There it is as well. So this could end up being a big, big snowstorm for almost all of Colorado, depending how this thing moves in early in the week next week, Monday into Tuesday. Cold temperatures are lasting for a little bit while longer out there too in Colorado. So Euro temperature anomalies. Obviously, you're freezing out there right now. Slight little warm up Friday, and then we have cold air diving back down in Saturday and Sunday. Slight warm up, cold air again. This would be crazy. Temperatures 50 degrees below average in Kansas, 40 degrees below average around Denver. That would be, if this were to happen, we could see some potential record cold temperatures in the beginning of the week next week in Colorado. Yeah, we talked about Portland quite a lot this stream. Portland, I think, actually, maybe not a lot this stream. I think we only talked about it twice this stream. Portland looks like it could get an inch or two. The Euro likes about 2 inches. Our short range is like an inch over the next 48 hours. Can I love your content? I've been following you for a while, and I've been watching it since. Jordan, I appreciate that. Jordan Patton, I appreciate that. Let's see. It was a 12Z icon I was looking at. Oh, you're right. Oh, you know why it didn't set it? Usually it sets it straight to the newest model, but it wasn't done loading, so it didn't set it straight to the newest model. I didn't realize that. I mean, oh, the ice is crazy on this one. I doubt that happens. That would be a crazy ice storm. I doubt that happens. And then, yeah, it doesn't have the snow as far south in this one. Yeah, I want to let this finish loading. What? Yeah, what is it doing with this? I have to look. It's okay. It's not even going to show me ice on here. This is like, I think this is just unrealistic. This is ridiculous. It's not going to happen. Not that much ice. Oh, here we got up to 174. Load it. Oh, so this latest icon is actually, this is beginning to move up the coast. So if this were to happen, this could end up bringing snow through here. So we'll see. Yeah, if the model's not loading, it won't go to the latest one. Why is Jersey either a hit or miss with snowstorms this year? That's how everywhere is. That's why. It's a short answer. Philly's been the same. Pittsburgh's been the same. Central Ohio's been the same. New York City's been the same. Southern Connecticut's been the same. A lot of Minnesota has been getting snow just to the south, just to the north with a lot of systems. Trust me, it's not just Jersey. The U.S. is huge. The East is huge, and snowstorms don't cover, big swaths. Usually when a snowstorm moves in, and the best way to look at it, because people have this like idea that they're always just missed, and it's kind of true, but especially when you go to like 24-hour snowfall, Look at how these storms move. So you can say this one, like this one is like just missing like millions of people right here and millions of people right here. But when you look at it like this, see the way they move, they're always going to be just avoiding some people. Look, if that happens, you guys won't be missed. This is this is the end of the February warm up that I'm watching. You see at the end here how there's no snow anywhere. I don't think this is going to happen. I don't think it's going to be that warm, but we'll have to see. Jersey's going to have another chance for a big snowfall before winter's over. Trust me. If the North Carolina coast gets more snow before mid-North Carolina, I'll be so sad. Well, to be fair, the coast of North Carolina was on a much worse drought than Charlotte up through Raleigh. Coastal North Carolina had been like a decade, whereas like 2021, Charlotte got like 6 or 7 inches of snow. How come snowstorms in Canada always explode into a broad swath of heavy snow? Well, like, oh, you're saying like you can see like how that moves up there and then it moves like this. It's when you have cold air and warm air interacting, you get a tighter circulation, you get tighter vorticity, and you tend to have a stronger storm that's more compact. But as you move up and you lose that tension and that temperature and that pressure gradient, it tends to expand and weaken. So you get a larger swath of snow that's not falling at as heavy rates as it can down here in the States. Severe storms could affect South Carolina. I'd worry about some flash flooding in South Carolina, up in the mountainous regions, upstate South Carolina. This isn't supposed to be too severe, but Thursday you have some strong squall lines moving in that could produce some pretty strong winds. Saturday as well, although you're not in the immediate threat zone right now, that could be moved out east, and it could encompass parts of South Carolina as well. So most of the instabilities, the worst instability is going to be off to your west, but that could involve South Carolina as well. When do you think we can know more about next week's storm? Yeah, this weekend, because it's what? I mean, it's like a Wednesday, Thursday event, so we should, I mean, especially as we get into Sunday, we'll be in what we consider forecasting range, 96 hours. But I think Saturday, under 120 hours, we'll have a good idea of if that storm's moving up to the mid-Atlantic, or if it's flattening down, moving off the coast, or if it's even scooping farther to the south. I think Saturday. No heavy snowstorm for Minnesota right now in the forecast. Some light snow in the south. This could be interesting. This could drop 2 to 4 in the state Friday, but I mean, not a major snowstorm. You guys have seen much bigger ones. The problem is you guys are getting so cold for so long again. Look at these blue temperature anomalies sticking in and around Minnesota. Look at this. 30 to 40 degrees below average. Look at this. Holding blues. And then you finally get a tiny bit of warm up at the end of this run. I don't know if that warm up's coming in like that though. I think this isn't showing it accurately. So yeah, you guys are going to deal with the issue that you had in January in Minnesota again, where you're going to get too cold. You're not going to have the ability to have much convection in and around the state. Southern Maine coast. This probably won't drop too much snow, but possibly. Let's look at our latest totals for up in Maine. Let's go up into the northeast. And let's see here. Winter. Let's go to our 18Z. Here's our 18Z. Here's the latest. Let's move this just through. Let's just move this a week forward. Not even 5 days. The latest Euro thinks 8 inches is possible up and down the coast of Maine over the next 5 days. That would be just through this weekend. 18, yeah. What does our ensembles think? Our ensemble actually agrees really, really well with our deterministic model. Only thinks about during that same time period, maybe an inch or two of snow into Pittsburgh. Yeah, a lot of people keep asking about Portland. There's a lot of models that show an inch or two possible in Portland over the next 48 hours. The Euro likes it the most. The NAM and HRRR are really only think an inch, but they all kind of see some snow falling into Portland. Actual low elevation. Oh, I finally get sorry guys, I'm freaking I'm exhausted. I have my 9 to 5 has been destroying me lately. And my sister comes into town this weekend, so I'm gonna be working really late tomorrow, like 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. in the office, because I'm trying to get everything done so I can have a fun weekend with my sister. And I am just freaking getting no sleep and constantly working. Yeah, we just went over Pittsburgh. This is the next 5 days in Pittsburgh. If we looked at, around 1 to 2 inches, the Euro thinks. If we looked a little bit farther out, our ensembles think we could see. I don't want to get too crazy. 10 days out, our ensembles think we could see something like 3 to 5 inches in Pittsburgh. About 10 days out, we'll see. We're really watching this Wednesday, Thursday system next week, because this could. If this negatively tilts a little bit more, it's going to be a huge snowstorm for everyone up here, including Pittsburgh. So this is the next big system we're watching for the Northeast in general, which I include Pittsburgh in. Next big snow for Chicago, not too far. We're watching this right here. Right here. Some models think 4 to 6 inches back into Chicago again. This would be Saturday into Sunday. Could be more. We'll see. Nashville tonight? You guys expecting something? You guys got a lot of rain coming through there. You guys are going to clear out and have some much cooler temperatures moving in tomorrow. And then back to warmth and severe weather. And then back into warmth and severe weather right here Saturday. And then extremely cold again on Sunday. Your weather is going to be so bipolar in Tennessee over the next 4 days. It's going to go cold, hot, cold in like a 72-hour span. Why are the models so wrong for Chicago all the time? Spyro asked. Spyro, how much snow fell for you guys for this storm that moved over you? In Chicago, how much snow did you get? Two inches? Was it that big of an underperformance? No way it was that big of an underperformance. 2 inches? Oh, look at that. That's the heaviest snow fell to your north. Because they got 4 inches, 5 inches up near Crystal Lake. 3 inches right here in the burbs of Chicago. This is weird. This is really weird how the snow moved through. You can see down here 3 to 4. You can see up here 4 to 6. Let me show you. So you can see like 3 to 4, 4 to 6, and then in here you're seeing 1 to 3. So you're seeing that. I mean, this is this is what I tell people all the time. This literally proves the banding that we talk about. So you just had bigger snow bands moving to your south and bigger snow bands moving to your north. That's just unlucky. You can see. I mean, here's where our biggest. This is where our 6 to 9 inches fell right here to Chicago's north. But again, we saw some decent snow down here, 3 to almost 5 inches through down here as well. So there was a pretty big gap in the middle. There's a pretty big gap of snow in the middle. I mean, you guys still saw 2 to 3 inches, but that's a big underperformance. I didn't realize that you guys underperformed that much. You know, in the 48 hours before this storm moved in, the models pulled back. So we're consistently pulling back so much on totals. Although all that happened was the biggest totals just moved to the north. The bands were just right to the north. Wow. Well, let's take a look really quickly for you. Let's take a quick look. Let's quickly go into, let's see here, 1 second. Let's go to Euro deterministic. And let's go into this. So here's what the Euro thinks. So this would be your Saturday into Sunday. So the Euro is thinking 7.4 right now. I don't think that's crazy unrealistic. If I had to guess, I'd say it's going to be closer to 4 to 5. But let's take a few looks at a few models here. Let's go into our GFS. Let's go back to the 18Z. See, the GFS keeps the snow just to your north. So GFS is keeping you in about 3 to 4 for that. European's a better model though. So our NAM able to see far enough out. 12K. Yeah, our NAM thinks 5 inches as well. I'm gonna say right now 4 to 5. That's gonna be close with mixing, but I don't know. This was a big miss on the models. This was a big miss on the models for Chicago, but we saw higher totals to your south and to your north. So I think it just had to do with the way the snow banded. But that's pretty unfortunate. Some really good meteorologists who I trust a lot too. I heard them talking about Chicago, and most of them said 6 to 9. So it was a pretty big miss by models, and that's one of those things that's impossible to call though. You really must have had some heavy convection literally straight to the north and heavy convection straight to the south. I wasn't watching the storm as it was moving through, but that is crazy. I did not expect that much of an underperformance in Chicago. That right there is unlucky. We have about 6 inches in southwest Wisconsin. Yeah, I saw that. Southern Wisconsin got kind of what we thought. Southern Wisconsin forecast was pretty good on it. But again, looking at that snow total map that I just looked at, the only area that outperformed was that stretch through Chicago, through metropolitan Chicago. That underperformed. You guys are right to be upset about that. My friend who lives in Illinois also said she barely got any snow. I could still see the ground and road in the pictures. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, there was just there. Sometimes you get dry pockets in these snowstorms, and what happens is where they set up, they trail and they continue to extend over that area. Let's see here. 1 second. How about the west side of the states on Thursday, Friday? Yeah, big system moving through. Thursday, Friday. I mean, we're going to have inches of rainfall, and for anyone out here that doesn't see snow, but this is going to be feet for the mountains. This is going to be a few feet for the Cascades, up through the Sierra Nevadas up through the Cascades, and then we're going to see probably a foot or two in some areas down here in the Rockies. Flagstaff's expected to see a foot of snow temperatures are remaining cold. They'll warm up a little bit into Friday and then immediately get cold again as we move into the weekend. So you could see this. Or actually, the bigger warm up. Let's take a look. Here's our warm up. Yeah, Friday. And then a pretty significant cool down again as we get into the weekend. Especially, I mean, not really for out here, but especially for the Rockies right here. And then obviously the CPC, as we push through February, sees the East getting, I mean, we were looking at this earlier. We're expecting a ridge to move back into the west as we move into the end of February. Although this ridge may extend through the whole country as we move into the beginning of March, but then it's expected to get cold again. Let me see something real here. Do you think this next snow this weekend will bring more snow than today for Chicago? Now I do. It wasn't expected to, but you guys super underperformed, and this one is expected to bring more than that. Yeah. Originally, this was supposed to be your bigger one, but you guys clearly sat in a dry pocket the whole time. I mean, the forecast was good for the snow system that just moved through the Mid-Atlantic. Most of the areas got what I called, what the local meteorologist called. Not what the weather apps did okay with it as well. Actually, the weather apps actually did okay with it. Overall, it was a pretty good forecast for the Mid-Atlantic. Overall, though, the forecast was pretty good through here with this storm. Specifically, Chicago saw a big underperformance, and that happens when you just have a dry pocket of air set up over a region while snowstorms are moving through. Having fun. I appreciate you, Pablito. Michigan. We actually have our latest GFS is loading in. I don't think it's too loaded in yet, though. Yeah, you guys still got some snowfall in Michigan. Here's the next system moving through. It wants to give most of the state 2 to 3 inches of snow. And then we'll see about this. This is just in a good forecasting range right now for Saturday into Sunday. Obviously, are we going to see this 6 inches to a foot of snow in southeastern Michigan? Potentially. How much model consensus do we have on it? Here's the GFS at the same time. 1 second. So the GFS keeps that slightly farther to the north and keeps the totals down a little bit. Canadian. Canadian Canadian actually pulls that snow way far to the south. So unfortunately, we're not that far away, but there's no model consensus on that. But Michigan is in the path of 2 more snowstorms, 1 and 2. So we'll see. This second one here is actually a squall line moving through. So let's just look at this real quick. Here's the AT&Z. So this snow is moving out. Clipper system moving across Michigan on Friday. This isn't supposed to be a ton. This right here behind the squall line, this is going to be extremely cold air. This is going to be a good snow ratio. So this is gonna be, I mean, for 1 inch of precipitable water, you could see 15. You could see 10 inches of snow. So that'd be a 10-to-1 ratio. So this could be good. This is the look on our Euro. Sorry guys, I'm tired. This look on our Euro. This is the look on our GFS. So the GFS doesn't have as tight of a frontal boundary here, so it almost acts as a clipper as it moves over Michigan. I have no reason to believe the GFS over the Euro right now with this system though. So I don't know where you are in Michigan, but for anyone who's in chat in Michigan, you're probably going to see some decent snow 1 or 2 more times over the next 5 days. They all see it a little bit differently, but most of them put a good amount of snow through Michigan again. Yeah, new GFS loading. Not very loaded in. Let's see what we got going on here. This looks like a little more snow than we previously saw. So this would, again, be a little bit more snow into Chicago. And, again, we're still expecting another snow system after that. So, I mean, Chicago still expected to get somewhere between 3 to 6 more inches of snow over the next 72 hours. Yeah, 72 hours, 72, around 80 hours, I'd say, over the next 80 hours. So, for people who didn't get as much as they wanted, I think the weekend may be a little bit, would be a little bit nicer to you. Do you think Dallas-Fort Worth in Texas is going to get more ice next week? Yeah, there's some models that show ice. There's some models that even show the chance for snow next week into Dallas. So we got to let it get a little bit closer, though. Flagstaff snow inches range for Thursday and Friday. Most models still give it close to a foot. We can take a look again, Southwest. I mean, yeah, this is giving 13 inches. Let's go to our 18Z. 18Z, our 18Z Euro thinks a foot and a half. that would be crazy. What's our? Can we see in our NAM 3K? Yeah, all of these really think a ton. I want to zoom in a little bit more here. Arizona. Our NAM 3K is thinking 9 inches. Man, you guys are gonna get a lot of snow. That's the lowest amount that I've seen is the NAM, and it still says 9 inches. That's like the lowest amount I've seen. The lowest estimate I've seen. Yeah, even the HRRR thinks 9+ inches. So I wouldn't be surprised if you guys hit a foot. Anyways, here is. Let me just zoom out here. This is kind of the thought. Let me get back up to the US. There we go. Let's go back into the Euro. 18Z. Here's the thought over the next 5 days, guys, for snowfall. We do have some severe weather going on right now in the southeast. There is a tornado warning, actually. Let me quickly push into this so you guys can see it. Really quickly. There we go. So this is just to the north of Monroeville, Alabama. Let me go into single site radar real quick. I just want to make sure this isn't a crazy radar indicated 3/4 inch hail. It was just rewarned. Base velocity, there's not much here. There's the rotation. There's the rotation just to the west of Monroeville, moving up straight towards Beatrice and Pineapple and Oak Hill. It doesn't look extremely dangerous right now, but it is. I can see this is where the circulation looks like it is right there. Let's see if we have anything in the correlation coefficient. We don't. Okay, so not the craziest looking tornado, but this could intensify. It was just rewarned, meaning they expect that there could be an intensification. So again, this is moving up. It's moving up towards Montgomery, Alabama. If this were to continue on its track, I would be worrying about Montgomery, Alabama. But looking at the strength of it right now and the structure, I'd expect it to break down soon. But that's just something to be aware of. To the south of Camden, to the north of Monroeville, to the west, southwest of Greenville, Alabama. And again, you have this very strong squall line behind it, where you could see some, 60, 70 mile per hour gusts as this moves through as well. So people down in this area just need to understand that. Lots of severe thunderstorm warnings down here and tornado watches. Okay. I am tired. I need to get off because I got to get up for work very early in the morning again. This is what our Euro thinks over the next 5 days. So obviously this includes all of New England, some portions of northern PA, potentially New York City. We'll see. I think New York City is going to end up being a lot of mixing. Michigan, Wisconsin, portions of Iowa, Missouri, Indiana, Illinois look pretty good. Nebraska, Kansas, and almost all of the West where you'd expect that snowfall. And where you're not getting snowfall out West, you're going to get a lot of rain and wind. So we got some cold air sinking in. Obviously, if we just look at our temperature anomalies, let's quickly go down to temperature. Here's our anomalies moving forward. We get a warm up, cold air, warm up, cold air, warm up, cold air. That's why we're getting all of these storms. We're consistently having warm air and cold air interacting. That's why Saturday looks to be like a very, very kind of serious event down here where we could see an actual tornado outbreak through portions of eastern Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, and potentially over into Georgia. So that's something that we have to watch out for. 1 second. But again, the one thing that I'm really paying attention to is what happens with the big event. What could be the big event next week would be the 19th through the 22nd, potentially even farther out. But the 19th through the 22nd, we may be having our most significant trough of February moving down. We'll have to see. And there's still a big unknown on this system here. There's still a big unknown on this. There are some models that do think this is snow back in the south. There's some models that think this is a big nor'easter. There's some models that throw it off the coast. We'll probably have some model runs pull it through the Midwest, but this is going to be freezing air approaching the Gulf. A lot of our models want a big warm up and boring weather after that. I don't know if that's going to happen. Obviously, we have the split of the polar vortex. We have kind of two main vortices right now. And then the polar vortex, as that comes back together, the stratospheric polar vortex is going to be sunk a little bit over the lower 48. So we're expected to have an extended winter, and these winter storms are going to continue for a while. I'm tired. I need to go to bed. I got to wake up early. I have a full day tomorrow, but I'll be back on streaming tomorrow like I always do, and I'll be posting more updates tomorrow. I appreciate anyone who follows, sub-gifted. Just obviously was in here engaging. I'm sorry. I know I can't get to everyone's questions. But I will see you guys tomorrow. And everyone have a good night. Peace.